Hey guys, welcome back to All Bright Metal Works. I'm Troy. I'm the owner and the idiot in front of the camera. So, we just finished up the filming of the unboxing of this new Majestic Forge. It's the Artisan 3-burner forge with the flip down door. And now we're going to do the assembly video. So, we have all of our parts here. The assembly instructions, which these are guy kind of instructions. They're super simple. It's mostly just an exploded view, which tells you everything you need to know, and some basics like don't over tighten. So let's get cracking on this and get ready to start forging. So we got the mixing tubes. We have the manifold and the regulator. And the gas hose, which I'm not going to use this gas hose. I'm going to use this braided hose that's 20 feet long that I currently use for my Mr. Volcano. I prefer the idea of having my gas tank much farther away from the source of heat. Seems safer in my mind. They probably should consider that with these, because this is a 6-foot hose. And if you're forging and working around it, that's going to get in the way. Which happens, as you can tell, my shop's a little cluttered and crammed. So being able to work, you want to be able to maneuver around it. So that braided hose is going to be going up to the ceiling and then hung across with the tank, which the tank is going to sit over by the fire extinguisher on the wall. Although if there's a fire at the tank, I have to cross the fire to get the extinguisher. Might have to reevaluate that. Or worst case scenario, just get me another fire extinguisher and put it somewhere else. Never can have too many fire extinguishers. I say that, but my grandpa was a fire chief and he had hundreds, it seemed like. So that can be too many. Especially when most of them are antiques and don't work. So, I'll clean up later. Instructions that. So these burners, or the mixing tubes, go down in these flanges, and the exploded view says to put it flush with the bottom of the metal from the top of this. So, to figure that out, that's done. Let's see here. How about I find my tape measure? Aha. It probably won't be exact on all of them. There might be slight variations. But it is an inch and 3/16 on that one, inch and 1/8, and an inch and 3/16. So that gives you a good idea there. You can measure these fellas, mark off. Got that. Got the sharp E. And I guess I should check if these are all cut to the same length. That one's about a 1/16 shorter. But that's close enough for forge work. So we will take and do our inch and 3/16 down. And that is really hard to see. I mean, you could always just stick it in there and wing it, but get your mind out of the gutter. Right. Very difficult to see. I guess that's the problem of black marker on black pipe. But there she is right there. So that gives you an idea how deep to insert this. Like I said in my previous video, we got a screwdriver. This is a Lutz 6-in-1. Basically random cheapie from wherever I happen to be when I saw it and go, ooh, I need a screwdriver. Because I always lose these. So, need to back that screw out a little more. One thing I'm noticing so far is this is a pretty close fit on this pipe. It's not impossible to get in, but there's not much in the room in the way of a gap, which is a great thing. The little Mr. Volcano, it has quite the gap, and heat comes right up out of that, and kind of a chimney effect. Not very safe. Find my mark. So good on you, Majestic Forge Majestic Forge, for your attention to detail on the fit and finish. Double check this. It's kind of got a positive stop there. So I guess you don't really need to worry about that measurement as much. Make sure she's pretty close. We'll do some final adjusting once we get the manifold on. So getting that pipe in there initially, there's a little bit of a burr on the screw hole here. So it catches that burr as it's going down and kind of shears the burr off. It's just a little bit of wiggle. Come on. There you go. And you shouldn't need to hammer. That would be kind of dumb to do, because if it snags onto that ceramic fiberboard in there, you're going to chip it out and you're just wasting a lot of money. So we got all that. I'm going to take my handy dandy hook rule. I made a 2-footer. Has a straight edge here. I'm going to make sure everything is level. Doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but perfect-ish. I'm a bit ADD and tiny bit OCD with that ADD, but it's just enough OCD to have the little nitpicky things bother me, but not enough to actually have a clean shop. So, let's see here. Like I said before, you want your hose nipple here to be away from your flip down door, because you don't want your hose to be hanging over this heat source. So these little metal plates go up between these bell housings there. It just kind of slides over it. They wedge in there just a little bit. And this is where you can do some final adjustment on placement and all that. You want to make sure that the manifold is centered on the valves and that your valves are standing straight, which they're not. Alright, so once those are centered, Then you need another tool, and I didn't think I had to get that brought over here. So I'm just going to finger tighten for the moment. Double check my fit. You only want to have to really do this once. Double checking hose this way. I'll grab my wrenches here. And if you've never seen it before, I got these handy dandy little wrenches here, all wobbly. It's actually a ratcheting wrench in a sense. So it opens up as you push back. So you push it on the bolt, turn, and then as you back up, it'll slide around your bolt and keep turning. You got it in a couple different sizes, and it tells you the sizes you do, or that it'll do in the wrench. I got these two sizes, and then I have a larger crescent wrench style one. Don't know where it is at the moment. But this only calls for some little guys here. So, put that guy on there. Righty, tighty. So the bottom one's backwards. Okay. Finish the finger tight. Man, that is handy. And you definitely don't want to over tight, but double check as you go that you're still lined up, because as you're flipping stuff around, it can throw off your alignment on stuff and knocking the box around. That way. Kind of surprised it didn't come with little cheap stamped tools to throw your stuff together, but I know they make this for people who are serious about the work, and people that are serious about the work should have tools. So generally the stuff you get that comes with its own little tools is cheap junk and not very well made. So that's nice and sturdy. Awesome. Got that. Check all my screws here. And there we go. Alignment. Everything's good. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to put this hose on, but I'm not actually going to use this hose. But I still have that one hooked up to my Mr. Volcano, and I'm not going to waste your time on here. So if you're putting one of these on and you got these little warning tags here, some people rip them off, but if you're not one of those people, put that on the end away from the heat, because that's just a little flag that's yelling, hey, catch on fire. So a lot of times you'll find like gas valve regulators and stuff have reverse threads, but your fittings generally are going to have standard threads. There are some applications where they don't, but it's different for everything. I might actually swap out this elbow for a vertical pipe, since I'm going to be hanging the hose above, but this isn't its final location in my shop. That I still have to determine, because it's a much bigger forge, and when I put it somewhere, I don't want to have to move it around. Like my Mr. Volcano is set up to be portable, because I take it to farmers markets or festivals and stuff and do demonstrations on the road with it, because it's lightweight and easy to use. So there you go. Flip down door. And of course you'll have regulator on the other end of this. And like I said in the previous video, this is a 0 to 30 regulator to give you that extra heat to get up to forge welding temperature. It's not all gas forges can handle forge welding temperatures. So there we go. Thanks a lot, Majestic Forge. I'm not sponsored by them. I'd love to be, but they seem to have a really good product. I've used Majestic Forge with my buddy at his shop. That's Scott at Birdno Forge Works. He's on Facebook. Check him out. Great guy. A little bit of a sharp burr on that, but I'm a blacksmith. I can fix it. That's just where they've sheared it and not dressed the edges. And that's just the little door pins here. This is similar to a farrier's forge. A farrier's forge, which is another model I carry, is a 2-burner with the flip down door, and it gives you the option to do long work in the side, or if you have wide work, you can open the door and do wide work. Really versatile and awesome. Nice heavy material it's made out of. I'm assuming this is 16 gauge steel, roughly. My little gauge is missing. Yeah, probably on my workbench. All right, but no need to worry about that. It's really heavy stuff. It's nice. Hard brick on the bottom. The sides have that ceramic fiber board. You got to remember when you're heating these things up for the first time, go slow, go low, and let it drive out any moisture it's collected. And the instructions said, which I talked about in my last video, if you don't use this thing for 48 hours, you're supposed to do the low and slow again to start for about 10 minutes to drive out the extra moisture, because it will absorb it. And if it's a block building like mine, it's kind of moist. So, got that. I know my Mr. Volcano, when I start it up, if I haven't used it in a day or two, it steams out of every crack and crevice it's got. So, pretty sure once you see the steam drive away off of it, it should be good to go. But you, according to the instructions, it says to let it cool for 10 to 15 minutes after you've done the initial 10 to 15 minute low and slow, and go from there. And line this floor with ceramic tile if you're forge welding. Otherwise, it will eat those bricks. And this looks like it's a pain in the hind end to disassemble to fix that. So if you don't have to, then don't do it. It's got little pins here on the side with cotter keys that you can slide out and take the top off and probably fiddle all the stuff out of it. But why bother with a headache that you don't have to worry about? This is very expensive forge. Not the most expensive. Really good price for the money, or for what you get. So this one's listed at $550 online currently. That's subject to change at their whim. But definitely worth it. It's going to make its money back easily this year. And that's pretty much all I got on this. She's all assembled and ready to do. I'll do another video later. Maybe do a video of the dry out process, but I got work to do. I got to get it done. So I'll catch you on the next one. Forge on, my friends.